So the United States is making a deal with Iran. Man, it never ends. It never ends. The conflicts, the wars, they never end.
The whole reason why they're attacking Lebanon is because of the threat posed by Hezbollah. But get a load of what Itamar Ben Gvir says. We must continue destroying houses in southern Lebanon, continue pushing residents away, continue eliminating Hezbollah. So, in other words, that's right, Hezbollah. I got to mention Hezbollah, but pushing residents away. In other words, continue ethnically cleansing the Lebanese people from their own homes, their own land. We intend to continue.
It's so funny how she tries to make what he's saying as this evil thing. He's very simply saying, without any hesitation, we need to ensure that Hezbollah is not a threat. How do we do that? By removing the civilians from the territories where Hezbollah is located, by evacuating civilians, which is funny. Anytime there's a mention of Israel doing that, Anna's like, "You're kicking out civilians." Oh, so would it be better if the war happened with the civilians in place? The war is happening, lady. The war is happening because there's a terrorist group committed to Israel's destruction in that territory. So we're going to tell the civilians to leave out of courtesy, because we don't have to. And you're going to say, "Oh, well, national law requires it." Okay, well, tell it to Hezbollah, tell that to all the groups Israel's fighting. Oh, you won't say anything because you don't care, because you support them. And she did mention how Iran's she likes to say how their red line is Israel pulling out of Lebanon. What does Iran have to do with? There's two separate countries. Let Iran deal with Iran. Let Lebanon deal with Hezbollah. But she makes it as if Iran is the protectorate. They're the protector of Lebanon. What noble people. No, they're doing it because it's strategic. They don't want Israel to continue the war because then Iran is isolated. Iran then has to fend for itself. It doesn't have proxies it can send to fight us. It severely weakens Iran if Israel can defeat Hezbollah. That's the point here. God, this woman.
Continue doing that. Yair Golan, the left-wing Israeli politician that doesn't really exist, says this morning Israeli citizens are waking up to an agreement between the.
Oh no. Huh. I wish she was right, but there's absolutely a left in Israel. It exists and it is very influential and it is stupid. Oh, it does exist. It's so funny how her and Cenk are under this impression that the left wing, even the left wing isn't left. Oh, believe me, it is. Believe you me, and this guy Yair Golan that she's now putting up here said that IDF soldiers kill babies. This guy is plenty left. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Just as big of an idiot as the Cenk and Anna.
United States and Iran made over Israel's head. In one signature stroke, immense military achievements secured with the courage of our pilots and the blood of our fighters have been erased, while Netanyahu stood on the sidelines, weak, ill, isolated, and powerless. Wait, what did you guys accomplish in Iran exactly? Can you please?
It's also funny, this Yair Golan guy, he's using all this language. He just crapped on IDF soldiers, I don't know, 6 to 12 months ago. But he's trying to get elected, and he knows that the Israeli populace wants to see rhetoric like this from him. So he's switching over and talking, speaking, honoring the soldiers all of a sudden. He's just a loser.
Please lay that out for us in a detailed manner, because the United States and Israel got spanked bad. Okay, like nothing got erased other than possible inflation for the global community because of the Strait of Hormuz continuing or remaining closed. But Cenk, your thoughts before we go to that fun mashup of media figures in the U.S. freaking out.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's what's amazing about the state of Israel right now. Yair Golan is supposed to be the left winger, and he's like, "We didn't kill enough. We didn't get enough war." Right? What part of that is left wing? I mean, that's like the Israeli version of left wing. So they're like, we didn't take enough territory. Like, and Ben Gvir always does the confessions because he thinks, what are we bothering to lie to these guys for anyway? I'll say guys. We have them completely under, or almost now apparently not completely under our control, but enough under our control that we can just say it. Yeah, we're going to take their homes and we're going to take their land, and this peace deal is going to get in our way. That's why we love war. We're an out of control fascist state that loves war. And we want to take all your land and take your physical, literal home.
The sad part is it's actually the United States that loves war. That's the good. It's Israel who constantly always has to fight the wars, but it's truly the United States, being that it's the superpower that it is, that actually loves war. This is the sad truth that we don't want to come to terms with. Cenk's about to really what are you gonna put in your mouth over there, Chinky boy? You look like you're ready to have some lunch, huh? Mr. Chinky boy. Mr. Chinky Spanky. Mr. Spanky Chinky.
Homes, and if you defend your own home, we'll just call you a terrorist. And so we're going to talk about the Israelis here in America, like Ben Shapiro, but Shapiro also made it seem like, oh well, we have to keep the war going because Israel hasn't gotten enough, and the other side are terrorists. And he thinks that's like a clever ploy. We've already gone through this a million times. You can call them terrorists all you like. Israel's clearly the bigger terrorist. There's no question about that. They kill 100 times the civilians, have a worse civilian kill ratio. But they think, oh, we'll just tell the Americans the dirty Muslims and Christians are the terrorists and we had to steal their land.
What emerged in a form of defense was Hezbollah in the 1980s in order to end Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon. And they succeeded in doing that. And Israel has been, trying to fight them and demonize them ever since. But make no mistake about it, Hezbollah wouldn't even exist had it not been for Israeli aggression and attempts at annexing land that doesn't belong to them.
No. Again, I've said this in a previous video, Israel would not have invaded Lebanon if not for the PLO. If the PLO wasn't attacking Israel from southern Lebanon, then Israel wouldn't have invaded. Hezbollah grew because there was reason to fight Israel. Why have one group when we can have two? Why have two when we can have three? Hezbollah had their own interests. The PLO had their own interests. Why do we have the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hamas, the Lion's Den, a bunch of different groups I've never even heard of? This is how it works. Each group has its own agenda. One group is more extreme than the other. You have one that's Sunni, one that's Shia, one that's I don't even know half of these things at this point. These random Islamic, what's the term? Sects, religious sects. Like Hezbollah absolutely exists because it wants to destroy Israel. It is funded. It is funded by a very powerful, a regionally powerful country, a regional power. Okay, and it has every incentive to fight Israel. It is religiously motivated. It wants power. The leaders of Hezbollah want power. They want money. They want respect. They want territory. There is a large laundry list of reasons why. The PLO had no interest in Lebanon. The PLO used Lebanon as a base because that's where they were.
Now, with that in mind, let's go to the chorus of Israel First media figures in the United States who have engaged in simultaneous meltdowns. Take a look.
Israel will not be able to adhere to what would be a suicide pact. The Israeli people won't put up with it. The prime minister won't put up with it. We should not accept it either. Because remember, Hezbollah has attacked us. And when Israel is forced to defend itself, including preemptively against Hezbollah in Lebanon, and remember, they're not at war with Lebanon. They have a peace deal with Lebanon. They've never been at war with Lebanon.
Israel is going to have to respond to terrorism across its border, as we'll see. If the United States is going to suddenly become an advocate for the idea that Israel can't defend itself, then this is a giant L for the United States and for our allies. If you keep sending the signal to a terror-backing regime that chants death to America, that you want to deal with them so badly that you're going to tell our allies in the region to stand down, you are giving them an enormous amount of forward momentum. And that is a huge mistake.
There's talk of a reconstruction fund of hundreds of billions of dollars. They'll be like doing a Marshall Plan for Germany while the Nazis were still in power.
Here's the problem, though, Mark Thiessen. Equating the IRGC with Nazis really cheapens the severity and the barbarism that was carried out during the Holocaust. But, Thiessen can't help himself.
No, actually, it's a very, very fair description. Comparing the IRGC to Nazis is actually a very accurate description. They both want to actually genocide a group of people. That they're incredibly similar. Israel literally would not be engaging in the wars it's engaging in if its enemies surrendered. But they shouldn't surrender. They shouldn't surrender, but we should. That's the premise here. Israel, you must surrender to your enemies. You are an inconvenience to them. Let them kill you. Why are you inconveniencing all of us? We're tired of hearing from you. We're tired of seeing you. Just go away. We don't care how. We don't care if you die, if you kick rocks, if you take a boat somewhere. We don't want to. We're tired of you. Okay, I'm tired of all of you. Cenk, Anna, and every last one of you that has a problem with this. Has a problem with me, the Jewish people, Israel, whether they're Jewish Israelis, non-Jewish Israelis. That's it.
Yeah, I like how they've dropped almost all pretenses at being Americans. They're like, this is going to hurt Israel. America can't do this to Israel. Wait, I thought you guys cared about America. And then they drop in a little thing like, well, America would also be hurt because Israel would be hurt and you guys are dogs.
It's amazing.
No, I mean, they're totally telling on themselves, right?
No. The reason why it hurts the United States is, for one, it emboldens other countries that are in opposition to the U.S. It emboldens Russia. It emboldens China. It surely emboldens Iran. These are countries that want to increase their power in the region. Iran wants to dominate in the Middle East. They want to defeat Israel, partially for one, because it's a religious war. They want to get rid of Jewish rule in that land. They want to assert their dominance in that land as Shia Islam. They want to turn the entire Middle East into a Shia Islamic caliphate, and then they will eventually want to get to the rest of the world. That's absolutely the Sunnis want to do it, and the Shiites want to do it. In addition to that, Iran, Russia, and China are watching this. They're seeing what's happening, and they're saying, okay, well, if as Israel becomes weaker, we can create means to assert our dominance in the region. If Israel gets weaker, America gets weaker. America they'll survive. Of course, they'll survive, but they won't have control over the Middle East. The Middle East is a very important region in the world. It's a massive part of the world. It has all kinds of natural resources. It's a key part of the world. If America doesn't have control over the Middle East, you could argue that's fine, but they're not going to be who they are. The United States won't be the superpower that they are today. And that has major implications. They're just not going to be as wealthy. They're not going to be as successful, and they are at risk. They are at risk of not having the capabilities to defend themselves. They don't have the capabilities to create certain changes that they want to do, that they want to create. This is all it is. This is all it is. Again, I've said this many times. If the Americans don't want the United States to meddle in foreign affairs and have their boots in the Middle East and have their influence in the Middle East, then they can either move to Switzerland or try to turn the United States into Switzerland, but it won't be what it is. It won't even be in third place for the strongest country. It'll be way, way lower on the list. So that's what Cenk doesn't get. And if he has heard it before, he doesn't truly understand what it means because it's an absolute fact. America is able to control the Middle East through Israel, through its alliance with Israel. And it should do everything in its power to ensure that that stays that way. And obviously, Israel benefits from not only having power, but from existing. We must exist. That's why Americans don't understand what it means for Jews and what it means for Israelis. Like it's do or die. It should be do or die for the Americans too, but it's surely do or die for the Israelis.
I mean, if we did a show where we're like, you have to do this for Turkey, and this will hurt Turkey. America, you better get back into war for Turkey. People would be like, what? Even if, like, although Turkey's a NATO country and arguably could make that argument legally and technically, right? But it would seem so weird if we demanded that, or some other show demanded that America work for Nicaragua. But they do it every single day. And then they go, oh no, it's okay, we're allowed to, because then we'll just throw out this dual loyalty trope, right? And you're not allowed to say it. No, I am allowed to say it. I will tell you right now, I don't even think they have dual loyalty. I think they only have loyalty to Israel.
And by the way, I mean, look, people are probably not going to love that I say this, but I'm going to say it. If you are an immigrant to this country, right, and
I don't think there's anything that you've said that I love, Anna, but yeah, go on.
you're fortunate enough to be here in the United States, I just don't think you get to pressure our government to carry out your pet project, right? Whether you be a Cuban individual in South Florida, whether you be part of the violent faction of the Iranian diaspora that loves watching their home country get bombed to smithereens. I just, you don't get to do that. Your priority needs to be the United States.
You're such a just crapping on the Iranians and the diaspora Iranians that are happy to see the regime lose power. Like, it's such a, who are you? Like, what nerve do you have to tell the Iranian people that live in California, all over the US, around the world? There are Iranians in all different parts of the world. And you have the audacity to tell them that they're violent? They're some of the most peaceful people I've ever met. Everything's backwards. Everything's backwards.
You're here and you should be here because you value and prioritize what's best for this country, not whatever your, pet project is in terms of foreign policy for your origin country. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I love Armenia, but America comes first. I live here. I was born here. I identify as an American.
Look,
if Iran was trying to destroy Armenia, Anna, and America seemed to be throwing Armenia into the wolf's mouth, into Iran's mouth, if you had any loyalty whatsoever, if you really gave a solitary fuck about the country that you originate from, you would be defending Armenia. And if you would totally throw Armenia down the tubes because you grew up in America, that's your problem. That does not mean that Jews should abandon their motherland, the land that we know for a certainty will have our backs. A mother has unconditional love. I use this example, this analogy all the time. For a Jew, America, England, Australia, these are like our girlfriends or our wives. We chose them, we love them, we care about them. But at any point, a breakup can happen and divorce can happen. It's not guaranteed. But a mother, on the other hand, that's unconditional love. The mother's going to love you no matter what. The mother's always going to be there for you. Israel is our mother. That's something you might not understand. You don't have threats to your life the same way. No one's trying to destroy Armenia at the moment. But if you were in this predicament, you would understand. I would like to believe you would understand. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you would.
You're Bulgarian American and you love Bulgaria too. No problem. That's not a problem at all. Like, okay, you love Israel for whatever reason. No, of course, whatever, no problem, right? Everybody gets to still have some feelings for where their ancestors came from, etc., right?
Of course.
But if you then say, no, America must serve Bulgaria.
Wait, Cenk, so you acknowledge that the Jews our ancestors do come from this land? Because if I recall correctly, and many times over, you've claimed that we're not. I don't know that it's occupied territory, that we stole the land. So we are from there. I just want to understand because now it seems like you're giving an example with the implication that we are indigenous to the land. So I just trying to understand, sir. I don't speak Turkish, so it's a bit difficult, but we're trying. Yizdirim vuldirim yizdrum vungrum vingrum vungrum. That's what it sounds like when I hear Turkish. Salt Bay Vujgaram Fusingrum Singon Kebob Vidvurum Bingrum Bingram Bangaram.
America must give Bulgaria hundreds of billions of dollars. America must attack Serbia and Greece on behalf of Bulgaria and spend trillions doing it. No, you weirdo. We don't have to do any of those things. And when you say that we must do those things, it makes us very reasonably conclude that you care more about Bulgaria than you do about America. And you could say the Bulgarians don't get to call tropes. Nobody else gets to call tropes of any sort. Only Israel has like hundreds of tropes they could release like political landmines and go, ha ha ha, you're not allowed to criticize us. But whether it's Bulgaria, Nicaragua, or Israel, the same rules apply. If you keep demanding that we serve that country instead of this country, well, you're saying, I don't really care about being an American. I'm just here as a Bulgarian asset to get you to do what the country that I actually love wants to do.
Exactly. Now let's end on one final thing that's important for the audience to know about. While there is a lot of complaints among the Israeli firsters in the US, Israeli politicians in Israel, it's important to understand that there are hardliners in Iran who are also unhappy with the framework of this memorandum of understanding. So for instance, one Iranian member of parliament says that the fact that they say we won and America has retreated is a blatant lie. Okay, Kamran, like what's going on, bro? Like, what do you mean? Like the US and certainly Israel, like we have been defeated for sure. There's no question about it. But he continues, oh no, I'm sorry. This is the senior commander of the IRGC. He says, we must ask Mr. Ghalibaf and Mr. Arakchi, wasn't closing the Strait of Hormuz one of our country's main levers in the Ramadan war? And wasn't closing the strait, blocking the enemy's commercial and economic breathing space and bringing it close to suffocation? With what logical justification and acceptable explanation are these gentlemen going to give up this fateful lever? I want to be clear, there has been no indication that Iran will give up control of the strait. They will maintain control of the strait, meaning that they can still utilize it as leverage should the United States attack once again. And he further says, they say, we will charge service fees from passing ships. That's it. America and its allies have martyred former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and the Islamic world shed the blood of dozens of nuclear scientists and high-ranking military commanders, hundreds of innocent people, and oppressed students. They have caused hundreds of billions of dollars in damage, and now by opening the Strait of Hormuz and charging service fees from passing ships, we are going to release their economic and commercial bottleneck. And it's very clear that he's not happy about that. He would like more pain to come to the United States and the global economy in retaliation for the attacks in the first place.
Yeah. Well, look, from their perspective, I kind of get it. I think they're wrong strategically as well. Not just morally, because you shouldn't want a war to continue, especially given that your people are going to be badly hurt as well. But he's saying, look, we've got them so badly cornered that they're saying they're shouting mercy basically. And so why wouldn't we charge a huge toll through the Strait of Hormuz? And they killed our leader, and they killed so many innocent scientists, children, etc. Now, we always look at it from the American perspective, especially because of our national media works for Israel, as like, oh yeah, we get to kill all their leaders. But they don't look at it that way. That's like them killing Trump and the entire cabinet, etc. Or if Biden was in charge, Biden and Kamala Harris and the entire cabinet, we wouldn't be like, oh yeah, whatever. No, we'd be like, no, we want endless war to get justice for those deaths, let alone if they murdered 160 Americans.
Yeah, and I actually don't blame Iran. I can say I don't blame Iran for feeling that way, but I also don't give a shit. Like, do I not blame this senior IRGC commander for being angry? Yeah, I mean we killed his beloved rabbi, like his imam of death. We killed his main guy, his god on earth, and all these idiots along with him. Of course he's pissed. Yeah, I mean he could get smacked too for as far as I'm concerned. Hopefully Israel gets him too.
School children on purpose with a double tap, right?
Yeah, Cenk, do you remember when Israel killed the entirety of the Yemeni parliament? Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. It's hard to, I mean, everything gets memory hold, right? Yeah. But like, they've carried out insane acts that I know for a fact that we as the United States would not stand for if anyone even attempted, even thought of carrying something like that out against us. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, so we've kind of gone along with this Israelification of our government. So both Israel and America now think it's like no big deal to murder other people's leaders. They're like, oh yeah, we have a unilateral right to kill any world leader we like. No, we don't. And so if we do, that country is going to be super pissed, and their hardliners are going to want blood and revenge and justice, right? And we could say, well, that's not fair. And if they try to defend themselves, they're terrorists. Yeah, we could say that all day long, but that's not going to change their mind. So they want to keep going with the war. They're like, we're winning, and they're not wrong about that. So the reason why I say strategically, at the end of the day, the hardliners are not correct, even within Iran's context, is that, yeah, but if we keep going, then we are going to bomb the civilian infrastructure of Iran, including the oil fields and the gas fields, and you're not going to be able to rebuild that for 5 to 10 years. A lot more Iranian citizens are going to die. A lot more of their senior officials are going to die. Yeah, maybe you do a lot of damage to Israel. Maybe you do a lot of damage to us, but that's definitely not worth it, especially when America is basically saying, okay, we're going to leave. We're going to leave. We couldn't do the regime change that we wanted. We couldn't neuter you like we wanted. So if I was in Iran and I looked at it from only their perspective, I would still say, take the win. This is a huge win. Don't listen to the hardliners. If you continue the war, you never know when something starts to go wrong. You might be winning now, but what if things turn around on you? And in war, easily could.
There's like a minute left, but I've heard enough. I mean, you get the gist. So it's very clear Cenk and Anna really love the IRGC. They really have this fetish for the mullahs and the ayatollahs. So they're a lost case. Israel and the United States need to finish this up. And if America doesn't want to be involved, stay the hell out of it and let Israel do the rest of the work. Support Israel in getting it done. If you want to remain the biggest daddy in the world, you want to remain number one daddy on planet Earth, especially in the Middle East, you make sure that Israel has the tools to defeat their enemies. So don't get involved. Let Israel do the work. And Israel, you need to get off this aid. You need Israel needs to get off the aid ASAP. Military self-reliance should be at the top of the list of to-dos right now for the Israeli government. We got no time to waste. ASAP. Ladies and gents, thank you as always for tuning in. Make sure to smash the like button. Make sure if you are not subscribed to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Make sure to follow me at Rafi, the realtor, for all of your residential South Florida real estate needs. Buy me a coffee link in the description is where you can send any sort of donation, support. It would be so greatly appreciated. Until next time,